3 rounds. Danny Bailey behind the glass, going to get us ready to roll. What do we got, my man?
The UFC announced Paddy Pimblett's next opponent will be Tony Ferguson. What are your thoughts?
I hate it. I hate it. I'm not happy. Not at all. Because the fight gods are cruel sometimes. They're so cruel. What does give me some hope, though, what gives me some semblance of faith here, Danny, because I'm pulling at some strings here. Like I'm flapping in the breeze trying to grab something just to hold on for dear life right now. But the way that Paddy keeps his chin up in the air and does get touched from time to time. I mean, I know he says Scouses can't get knocked out, mate, but the last thing to go is power. Tony has still shown that power in his last couple of fights. I mean, he did drop Bobby Green in that first round. I have to hope that just one last time El Kukui can capture lightning in a bottle and find the chin of Paddy Pimblett. And then once he does that, right off into the sunset, Tony. Please retire after that point. Get the knockout win. Retire, please. Just do us that favor. Like, don't put us through any more of this agony. We love you, Tony. Like, this is that meme where you see the Ninja Turtles when they were little baby ninjas walking along with Master Splinter. And then the cut below that is all of the grown Ninja Turtles and like an old decrepit Master Splinter. Tony, we don't want to see you take any more unnecessary damage. Like you have done enough. You will go down as one of the all-time greats and one of the biggest fan favorites because of the style and the wars that you put on. Just please call it a day.
UFC veteran Chris Leben made his judging debut for the promotion over the weekend after getting licensed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Any reaction to his first time on the scorecard?
I love seeing the Crippler on the UFC scene now. He's got some experience judging cards out there in California prior to this, and then now getting his making his way into Nevada, and I'm absolutely for it. We've talked about this many a times in terms of what are some solutions to the judging woes. I mean, how many times, Danny, have we had that conversation about how judging has been an issue? And one of the constant proposed solutions for people out there is to have former fighters in place as judges and referees. Chris Leben is taking that path. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do to get into those actual positions, like to actually get into that spot. They have to go through X amount of hours of training, sitting through actual fights, observing and going through classroom type of sessions or learning settings before they're actually put into place, and then before they're appointed by the State Athletic Commission to be put in place for a big show, say like the UFC, and albeit in Nevada. Now, you could say that someone like Chris might be fast tracked in terms of the experience factor, obviously, but his experience is valid, and I think that having somebody like Chris Leben in place there is massive. One, because it gives a path for other fighters or other former fighters to kind of follow. If he's forging that path and being the pioneer, you see it from Frank Trigg on the referee side, being the former fighter, former title challenger, so on and so forth, who is now a referee on the highest of levels. Now you see that from Chris Leben as a judge. I think it's incredible. I think that we hopefully see more of that going forward in the future. And, a guy like Chris Leben is a massive personality in the history of MMA. Now, Chris Leben was never a long-standing like a UFC champion or anything to that. But if you were to say, could you tell the story of MMA without a guy like Chris Leben? I don't know that you could say that, because if you look all the way back to what made the UFC what it is today, well, it's the TUF boom, right? It's that first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and there was no larger personality on that season than the crippler Chris Leben. So I'm glad to see that someone like him is still in place and still a factor for us here today.
Former UFC champion Israel Adesanya pleaded guilty to an August drunk driving charge. How will this impact his legacy?
Man, he wants to be John Jones so bad. No, just joking. All jokes aside, like, there's obviously no place to be drive. Like, that's a dumb charge, I feel like, in this day and age anymore, especially someone of his profile. Like, get a driver, pay one of your boys to drive you around for the night, get an Uber, something, whether it's Izzy, John, or just whoever common person. I think that a drunk driving charge in this day and age is absolutely just one of the dumbest moves possible. It's an IQ test that you flunked horribly. Just like that, though, folks, we are all out of time. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on social media. If you have any heaters this weekend, let us know what you're thinking. Make sure that you smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. I'm Jordan Kurtz. Give me a follow along online at Comments from the Peanut Gallery. I want to give a thank you to Danny Bailey behind the glass there. We want to thank Ryan and Roman from the Fan Cave. This is the MMA Plug presented to you by the Fan Cave on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by Fan Cave on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio.